Hi, everyone. In this interview, I speak with Chett Matchett, who's the Associate VP of Strategy, Operations, and Social Economics at ATB Financial. We speak about why she describes herself as a business disruptor, the most exciting sectors of Alberta's growing tech industry, what her recipe is for a prosperous society, and why she thinks our leaders have to start thinking in 100-year cycles rather than the usual 4. Enjoy.
Hello, I am Chett Matchett, Associate Vice President of Strategy, Operations, and Social Economics at ATB Financial.
Chett, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time and excited to speak to you. So thank you for doing this. I want to start off easy and just ask you to introduce yourself, tell us about your story and what you're passionate about.
Thanks, Tim. And first and foremost, really excited to be here. Love what you're doing with the Future Economy platform. So thank you again for the invitation. So, like I said, I'm Chett, AVP of Strategy, Operations, and Social Economics at ATB. So I have the honor of working on strategies and operationalizing them across the enterprise, as well as overseeing our greater good strategy, which leverages social economics to focus on the biggest data driven problems in Alberta and then rallies ecosystems around them in order to solve them, which really connects quite nicely to one of my passions right now, which is exploring how might businesses really be a part of solving societal problems so that we can create a prosperous society and economy for future generations.
That's a very noble goal, Chet, and thank you for everything that you do. Now, I've heard in previous interviews and in literature during our research that you describe yourself as being in the business of disrupting or transforming business. So I'd like to hear from you what that means and how you think that can or should be implemented in other companies and industries.
Throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to look at a wide variety of different business models and think about how might we either create a net new business model or take an existing business model apart and put it together back together in a way that brings additional value to our clients and the organization that I'm working with. So I started my career working in a technology accelerator, and we were able to build 5 different companies. Some of them went public, some of them didn't go public, but it served as a really great learning opportunity for me on how might we start to disrupt various different industries. And the most successful one at the time was a company called Earthcast, in which we put a live HD camera on the International Space Station to stream live video footage of Earth. And so it really put me into this mindset of really anything is possible when you have the right vision, strategy, and people around you. So when I moved to ATV, I took this thinking and this mentality with me and had the opportunity to create a wide variety of different innovations to help better serve customers in Alberta by bringing that additional value. So whether it be the ATB Booster, which is our crowdfunding platform, ATB Lender, which was our crowd lending platform, ATBX, our accelerator, the Entrepreneur Centers, which is a branch experience specifically catered to entrepreneurs in Alberta, the Branch for Arts and Culture, Trade FX, or a wide variety of different innovations have really been able to play with different business models and put them together, again, in a way that brings additional value to Albertans and ATB. And most recently, I've had the opportunity to apply that lens and that thinking to CSR and ESG. And so, like I said in my introduction, I now have the honor of overseeing our greater good portfolio. And so, what exactly is that? Well, our vision is to uplift the well being of Albertans by solving societal problems.
You're with ATB, which is obviously a financial institution, and you're focused on innovation. You have that background. How would you characterize Alberta's ability to innovate within fintech and the banking sector as a whole? And in terms of a forward looking perspective, what are the trends or initiatives that excite you most within that sector that you see shaping its future?
Yeah, I think right now it's an incredibly exciting time in Alberta, and I would characterize the overall tech industry in Alberta as blossoming and on the verge of thriving. And so some of the numbers that are really exciting to me is that we now have 3,000 tech companies across Alberta, which is a 233% increase since 2012. And we've also seen $455 million of venture capital being distributed into these tech companies in 2020, which is a 100% increase over 2019. And so, really excited to see some of this momentum starting to take off across Alberta. And some of the trends within that, we're seeing clean tech, pharma, ag tech, and fintech all really start to take off across the tech industry. Again, really, really exciting. The industry that has the most opportunity, I have to say, is energy. We have seen some progress around low carbon, cleaner ways to extract oil and gas, greener products and services, and sustainable waste management. But there is an incredible opportunity in front of us to really embrace the energy transition and look to becoming a world leader in renewable energy. And this is just coming from the thinking that you can't have a long-term strategy based on finite resources. And we need to work together to come up with longer-term sustainable strategies to really support an industry that has done so much for Alberta and Canada and the world at large. And I really want to see a continuing nurturing and prosperity with that industry, which involves being a part of that transition and really starting to think longer term by leveraging some more innovative ideas.
I want to touch on energy. You highlighted it as a key sector that is driving a lot of innovation. I'd like to see your perspective on how that sector and its talent is feeding into the innovation going into life sciences or agriculture or tech in general. Do you see a conduit or a path between energy and the other emerging sectors that you mentioned as being key to Alberta's future?
From a talent perspective, looking at Alberta, there's a lot of different opportunities within that question. I would say one of the key enablers that we need across all of these industries right now is a solid talent strategy across Alberta. In 2020, this was pre-pandemic, across Canada, we were already 150,000 jobs short from a tech perspective. And so, knowing what the pandemic has done to our economy, it has only accelerated the need for more tech automation and digital skills. And so, we're seeing, unfortunately, some of our talent leaking, if you will, to the United States still, even though, U of A has one of the greatest artificial intelligence programs in the world. Unfortunately, a lot of that talent is still leaking down to the States. And so there is a bigger opportunity for Alberta to think through how might we attract, retain, and keep some of that great talent in Alberta and work together across industry sectors to make sure that potentially we can create this really unique and valuable value proposition to keep people here in Alberta.
Well, Chet, you've already given us so much, but I want to ask you for 30 more seconds, if you don't mind. And I want to give you that 30 seconds to pitch somebody in a position of power to make Alberta, to make Canada leaders in industry disrupting innovation. Who would you pitch and what would you urge them to do to really make us leaders in innovations that are going to be driving the future economy?
I would be bold and just send a message to all political leaders out there and say that the choices that we make today are going to impact future generations. And we really need to move away from these short term cycles that are 4 years long to start shifting towards thinking about long term sustainability and 100-year cycles to really make sure that we're making the choices and the decisions today for those future generations to be prosperous. And the four guidelines that I would have and the recipe that I have on how to create a prosperous society is quite simple. Three pillars would be safety, inclusion, well-being, access to participate in society and economy, support and investment to prosper, and then the horizontal that runs across all of that is responsibly using our resources. The more Canadians that feel safe, have high levels of well being, have access to participate, and have the support they need to prosper and deliver additional value to our society, the better everyone will be in Canada. So let's make it happen.